Thank you for coming to the 2020 Kershaw County School District State of the District Breakfast. We appreciate your time and interest in our schools and making the opportunity to be with us here today as well. My name is Mary Ann Bird. I'm the Community Relations Executive Director for the school district. This morning we are joined by members of our legislative delegation, business, school leaders, church and law enforcement community leaders. Lots of special people in this room this morning, and we thank you. And so you're all a special group because you are part of the first ever State of the District breakfast, and we thank you for being part of that and that history. And we want to stop now and say a special thanks to WTC Director Gordon Morris for hosting us this morning. He's in the back there. And a special thank you to culinary arts instructor Brian Cato and his students for preparing our breakfast this morning. Thank you so much. Mr. Morris will provide some brief tours at the end of our time here this morning. If you're interested, if you've never seen the facility here at WTC, we are very, very proud of it and everything that they're doing here, so we'll offer that to you as well. We're also blessed with a very supportive school board in our community. They take their jobs very seriously. Representing all parts of our county, they bring a common goal to provide the best learning environments possible for our students and staff. And so joining us this morning from our school board, our chairperson, Dr. James Smith, our chaplain, Derek Proctor, members Ron Blackman, Matt Irick, and Todd McDonald. And please join me in a round of applause for their service. At this time, I'd like to ask Chaplain Proctor to come forward and give us the invocation, and after he has finished, WTC FFA student Kenlon Henson will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to hear from the Blaney Elementary School Choir led by Janet Wilhite, who will entertain us with their musical selections. Mr. Proctor.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your goodness this morning. We thank you that you hear us when we pray and you answer. I thank you for blessing Kershaw County and Kershaw County School District. We are thankful for the leadership our workforce demonstrates every day, an outstanding workforce that continues to grow their skills and knowledge in order to do the same for our students. Father, we ask that you continue to give Kershaw County School District workforce vision to always be looking forward and dreaming of new and creative ways to teach, train, develop, nurture the greatest resource in Kershaw County, our students, to strive for the best and know that if they have a vision and dream, instead of seeing problems or saying that cannot be done, they will see opportunities to demonstrate their creative thinking and problem-solving skills developed right here in Kershaw County Schools as students being taught by the best teachers anywhere. Amen.
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Ms. Wilhite and the Blaney Wildcats. You have warmed our hearts and gotten us off to a great start this morning. It's now my privilege to introduce our school board chairperson, Dr. James Smith. Serving on the school board expands Dr. Smith's opportunities to be involved firsthand in seeing that all of our students succeed. A graduate of North Central High School, Dr. Smith experienced how schools play a vital role in strengthening families. This became his life's goal, and he continues to pursue it as he leads his congregation at St. Paul United Methodist Church in the Knights Hill community. Please help me welcome to the podium our board chairman, Dr. James Smith.
Good morning. I greet you on behalf of the Kershaw County School Board of Trustees. We're here today to share the state of the Kershaw County School District. As a board, we seek to make sure that our students are empowered and equipped so that they can be successful in their endeavor to be productive citizens, as well as provide resources for teachers, administrators, custodians, transportation, and cafeteria workers, to provide the best for all of the students in Kershaw County School District in such a way that they may be prepared and equipped to compete in a global society. We're grateful for the work of the district office staff, for the support that they provide to the board, as well as to every school, teacher, and students in the district. Because of them, we have the tools and resources needed to accomplish the work that we have to do. They are the cog in the wheel. We're especially thankful to Dr. Robbins and his team for their leadership in the day-to-day operation of the Kershaw County School District. We acknowledge that there have been some new initiative, changes, and Lord knows change is not easy and many times hard to accept. We acknowledge that we have initiated changes and are still being evaluated. Some have caused some anxiety and stress for our teachers, even though we have tried to do what we believe to be the best. We're seeking ways to evaluate what we have done and to see if it's working, or if we need to make adjustment. In all of it, the intent is to have the best for our students. It has indeed been an eventful year. We have wrestled with determining what is the best for our students as we consider the buildings throughout our district. This was not an easy process or decision, but ultimately a determination was made to build a new school and to merge the smaller ones into one larger one. We have experienced a disaster at North Central High School, sustained a great deal of damage from the tornado, forcing the move of classes to the old ATEC building. In all of this, we're grateful for the blessings that no injuries was done to any of our students. And we had a place to utilize and the classes was not interrupted. We're thankful that the Carolina Panthers stepped in to provide a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the North Central High School as they offered to host the prom for them. So we continue to move forward, rebuilding, building, assessing, evaluating, reevaluating, and determining what is best as we partner with Central Carolina. And we partner in such a way that the students of Kershaw County and the whole surrounding area would be able to compete in a global society. And finally, all of this is possible because of what I believe is teamwork. And as team together, everyone achieves more. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for your comments and your leadership, Dr. Smith. I mentioned to you earlier that you are a special group for being part of our first ever State of the District breakfast, and now you're in for another first as we premiere our new Welcome to the Kershaw County School District video. I hope you'll enjoy the opportunity to learn more about our schools and hear directly from some of our students and our staff. And after this morning, we'll be sharing this video on our website and social media so that you can go back and review it, access it, watch it, and we hope you'll share it on your social media as well. A big thank you to our Web and Multimedia Services Coordinator, Julie Putnam, for coordinating and organizing the production of this video. It was no small task. Let's all sit back and enjoy our new welcome video.
I am dedicated.
I have dreams.
I am confident.
I am motivated.
I am driven.
Welcome to the Kershaw County School District, where our goal is to provide every student a personalized, real-world learning experience. Located in the Midlands, Kershaw County is a vibrant community where historic preservation intersects progress. We enjoy a high quality of life in a tranquil setting just minutes from our state capital. Each of our students are academically challenged in a technology-infused, one-to-one computing, safe supporting environment, preparing them today for tomorrow's opportunities. Our innovative programming continues to expand every year in STEAM classes, career and technical education classes, and increased course offerings through Central Carolina Technical College. We provide rigorous academics while inspiring dreams, achievements, and ultimately success.
Kershaw County School District students choose from a number of amazing opportunities to learn, grow, and succeed in rigorous academics, including the arts, sciences, and extracurricular activities. We are a progressive South Carolina school district where academic excellence comes first. In our classrooms, blended learning combines modern technology with traditional education focused on real-world learning.
Technology has impacted me because I use it for researching. I can get on videos and learn, and I can research, and that's just very exciting for me.
The impact that technology and blended learning have had in my classroom is that it really allows me to maximize my face-to-face time with kids and create a personalized learning experience for them.
Our one-to-one computing environment, personalized learning, and small class sizes allow students to research, discover, collaborate, and develop the skills of innovation and teamwork. These are the skills necessary for our students to become college and career ready and succeed in life.
An event that has best prepared me for college was an internship I did with Live for Kershaw in my community. After this internship, I was tasked to go back to my high school and create my own health and wellness club to help promote and put our goal into action. In the end, this helped enhance my communication and made me a better leader.
Extracurricular activities like marching band and like being drum major or working with other organizations have really helped me learn what leadership means to me. And I've really learned that leadership, most of the time, it's getting down, working with people, doing the work some of yourself and teaching others and really helping them, running around, doing what needs to be done.
We are a community where opportunities to learn and grow are endless, where learning is exciting, where it empowers and challenges students. With a district-wide, all-day 4K program, brand new state-of-the-art career and technology school located on a shared campus with Central Carolina Technical College, the future points to even greater opportunities ahead for our students.
Woolard Technology Center has helped me discover my goals because you get to participate in lots of internships and shadowing days. So through all those, you can kind of narrow down what you could possibly want to do or what could be an interest. And then you can also decide that maybe something wasn't for you.
Further demonstrating our respect for the uniqueness of all children, KCSD was recently recognized as a Purple Star military-friendly school district and one of the original 5 e-learning districts in South Carolina. We cherish tailoring educational experiences for every student's personal development, helping them become independent critical thinkers and productive future citizens. We inspire a love of learning and care for students as if they were our own.
Come visit the Kershaw County School District.
Educating all students for success by KCSD.
We have a lot to be proud of in our schools, and we know a lot of the accomplishments that you saw up there are a result of people that are in this room. Whether you work in the schools or you support us, we celebrate all of that success and greatly appreciate what you do to make that possible. One of the biggest strengths that we have in the school district here is our talented and dedicated teaching staff. And every year we honor outstanding educators in our Teacher of the Year program. Last year's District Teacher of the Year is Anna Harvley, and she's a great example of the exemplary teachers we have in our school district. Anna is a health science teacher here at Woolard Technology Center, and prior to that, she taught sports medicine and was the head athletic trainer at Lugoff-Elgin High School. Anna is extremely committed to her students while holding them to highest standards. She's a favorite of the students because they know she cares about them, and she's valued by her colleagues because of her leadership. Please help me in welcoming Anna Harvley.
Good morning and welcome to the Woolard Technology Center. I'm so excited about being here with you all today. As the Kershaw County School Teacher of the Year, I was asked to speak to you all today about, from a parent's point of view, as well as a teacher and a community member. Before I start, though, I think it's very, very important for you to understand why I love this school district and this community. My journey began in 2004 when I was in a neighboring school district and was pretty much stolen from that neighboring school district and hired as the head athletic trainer at Lugoff-Elgin High School. My husband of only 2 months at the time was also hired at Lugoff-Elgin High School to be a special education teacher and coach. I taught at Lugoff-Elgin High School for 14 years, designed a sports medicine curriculum, managed a student athletic training after-school program, taught health and sports medicine classes full-time, and headed up the athletic training after-school department program. I loved my job. It was my passion to teach young students about athletic training and show them what types of jobs were out there that fell under the umbrella of sports medicine. After having 2 children, however, and my oldest started playing sports, I realized I needed to step back and look at a different option in this school district. I love Kershaw County School District and love teaching, so I decided to accept a job at ATEC, now the Woolard Technology Center. As you can see, I'm very vested. This district is home to me. My children love their schools, and most of all, my family loves this community and the feel that Kershaw County offers. There are 3 points that I want to make about our school district. KCSD is child-centered, competitively driven, and community supported. I've been in the district long enough to see that decisions made will revolve around what is best for our children. One of the first things that I noticed when coming to Kershaw County was that student learning is a priority. The class sizes are small. The facilities are very inviting. Our schools are safe. And the ICANN initiative, which made our district one of the first school districts in South Carolina to supply our students with personal computing devices, gives them the upper hand in the technology world. KCSD has highly skilled and talented employees who are state and nationally recognized. I also noticed that teachers and administrators work hard to build relationships with students, staff, and parents. This, in turn, improves school culture and student achievement, decreasing the discipline problems. As teachers, we strive to let students know that we care about their success. Our district graduation rate is over 90%. More than 90% attend college or some form of continuing education, join the military, or enter the workforce. Secondly, our district is competitively driven. We always look for change in our school for the better. Through rigorous learning opportunities, we inspire students to think critically and solve real-world problems. They are challenged with hands-on learning and one-on-one technology. Our classrooms are equipped with state-of-the-art equipment, giving students the best and latest technology to make them better prepared when they leave our district. Advanced placement classes, dual enrollment courses through the partnership with Central Carolina provide our students with opportunities to obtain college credit and give them the competitive edge when applying for college. Here at the Woolard Technology Center, we equipped our students with career-ready skills and certifications that allow them to go straight into the workforce when they leave our facility. And for those that go on to college, they are more prepared for their field of study. Our district also offers opportunities for our students to participate in competitive sporting teams at the 2A, 3A, and 5A levels. For our teachers, leadership opportunities are encouraged, allowed, supported, and celebrated. The last C that I want to describe to you about our district and why I continue to work here and enroll my children is that we are community supported. The latest example of this is the outpouring support to our North Central High School family. It is amazing to live in a close-knit, connected community. I thank all the community members in our audience today that have supported our North Central teachers, administration, and staff through this disaster. As a teacher, this makes my heart smile to see the whole community coming together to support one another. My focus as a teacher is building relationships between educational professionals and business and community leaders as we continue in our efforts to secure meaningful relationships between school, families, leaders, and students. Currently, there are many community members that are very involved in sharing ideas and resources to help students and teachers, counselors, and to inspire students about their future career paths. It is my joy to invite a community member into my classroom to speak to my students. These expert skills that you share in the classroom inspire my students to go further, and it is a pipeline into our community. This contribution of community members is imperative to spur discussion and gaps between education and the workplace. I feel our community is a forerunner in giving students the opportunity to explore career pathways and allow them to gain work-based experiences before leaving high school. In closing, I hope that you have gained the knowledge that you need to support our district, which is striving to be the best in South Carolina. We all need to continue to be intentional in letting our students know we care by teaching real-life job skills, building relationships with one another to impact our student success. Finally, we must be intentional in reaching inward, helping others to do the same, and developing a collective momentum to better opportunities for better schools, better communities, and most of all, better student success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey, and for whoever initiated that steal years ago, a special thank you for bringing her to our school district. Like Ms. Harvey, our current KCSD superintendent, Dr. Shane Robbins, is a certified athletic trainer, and that's an indication to you that he did not start out his career as an educator, although he's been in the field for more than 20 years, including 10 years as a superintendent. During his tenure as a superintendent, Dr. Robbins has overseen technology integration initiatives that have allowed school districts to move away from traditional classroom instruction and textbooks. Earlier this month, our school district was named as one of only 23 school districts in the nation to be a national exemplar district by the National Council on Digital Convergence. This designation is awarded to school districts and educational organizations that reach stage 3 or above in the Digital Convergence Framework, which is a research-based methodology to personalize learning at scale. Dr. Robbins is the first honoree to have been superintendent in 2 of those 23 school districts. Please help me welcome KCSD Superintendent Dr. Shane Robbins.
Well, morning, everybody. I create the agenda, the schedule, and I think I didn't create it real wisely because I'm following up a wonderful choir, a nice new video, our teacher of the year, and now you gotta listen to me. So maybe I need to rethink this, as these programs are supposed to crescendo, right? I just got back from San Antonio. I was at an emergency preparedness conference, and the weather forecast for Charlotte was not good. I called Billy Smith and one of our board members, and I said, all right, I've got 3 options here. 1, my flight's going to come in, and I'm going to make it. Two, I'm getting on a different airlines. I'm going to get in at about 2 in the morning. Or the third option is I'm going to drive all night from San Antonio, but I'm not missing this breakfast because it's such an exciting time in the Kershaw County School District. I'd like to first start off by saying to several people, thank you for helping us make this event a reality. A big thanks to my administrative assistant, Wendy Blair. Wendy keeps me in check, and my wife hasn't made it. I was hoping she'd be here, but she's the only other person that knows how hard that can be at times, so thank you, Wendy. I would also like to say thank you to Marianne Bird and Julie Putnam and Nikki Templer in our Community Relations Department for setting this event up for us, as well as Dr. Sanger, our Executive Director of Educational Technology, Gordon Morris, Jason Alimo, Jeff Cooper, and the amazing team out here at WTC for hosting this event. It's been instrumental in us making this a reality today. Also with us this morning are important members of the executive cabinet. We have Tim Hopkins, the deputy superintendent here, Dr. Connie Graham, our assistant superintendent. We have Dr. Elisa Taylor, the chief academic officer, and I'm looking around to see if anybody else came in. Oh, we got Donnie Wilson, our chief financial officer, and Billy D. Smith, our chief operations officer, which this time of year is not fun for the chief operations officer. As you know, we are evaluating weather conditions and roads on a daily basis. So thank you for your attendance today to them as well. Our goal this morning is to do a couple things. First, as a school district, we have a mission, and that is to educate all students for success. But as a school district, we have another goal, and that goal is something a little more important to us. And that goal is we simply want to be envious of people around us, to be envious of the things that we're doing in our school district to set ourselves apart as an organization. I also hope that when you leave here, you feel even more inspired and encouraged to share the good news of the things that are happening in the Kershaw County School District, inviting people to move into our community, not only for the educational opportunities, but for the fact that this is a wonderful community to live in. So I've got on the slide for you some major program initiatives. There's a lot of things that go on in a school district that really happen behind the scenes. Some of them you'll see outwardly, some of them you won't, but I really want to briefly touch on our finance and enrollment, our all-day 4K programming, our new diversity and inclusion program. You'll hear me talk a little bit about our digital convergence and e-learning initiatives, safety, and then I'll round it out. I also have a little piece in here about our Purple Star recognition. So if you look at our attendance numbers, I put 2006, 2007 as kind of a guide to start with. We had 10,208 students, and we had just under 10,500 with preschool. If you go back and you start looking at 2015, we grew to 10,373. We grew from 16 to 17 to 10,553, and our growth really, as you look at the last couple years, has been really steady but very, very small. But the thing that I would like to bring to your attention is the fact that our preschool numbers are growing. I think that if you just travel through the community and you look at some of the growth that's occurring in the West Wateree part of Kershaw County, you see homes being developed, we're seeing businesses that are coming in. We're on the cusp of a lot of things that are about to happen in our school district. And so looking at these numbers is important for us so that we can plan and prepare for the future. And again, this slide right here just kind of shows you that we've been really kind of stagnant. You know, I say stagnant, that's not really a good word I want to use. We've just been flatlined across the district in most of our buildings, but the 4 highlighted areas you'll notice are in the West Wateree area, and that's where we're starting to see some of our growth. Now, why is that important? All right, it's important to look at those numbers because when a community experiences population growth and or shifts, one thing that we can do to maximize our resources is to massage our school community boundary lines. You know, so the new elementaries that we just built and opened in December of last year, Camden Elementary, Lugoff Elementary, and Wateree Elementary, are all designed to hold 800 students. And so as we look and see how our population is growing and shifting in the community, we will probably have to step back and look at the lines and make adjustments so that we're maximizing the space. Why is that important? Because it saves the community money. How does it save us money? It saves us money by not having to do extra renovation projects to create space and use the classroom space that we do have. And so those are things that we'll be looking at in the future. Something I'm pretty excited about, I've gone into districts, rural districts, where finances were a significant issue for us, and we had to make a lot of cuts just to stay afloat. But if you go back and again, you look at this chart, you'll see in 2010, we had a cash balance of 9.87%. I will tell you a conservative goal is to have 2 full months in operating cash reserves. That is equivalent to 16.67%. Based on our general fund budget this year would be roughly $15 million. If you look at the end of 1920, this is just a forecast. We're forecasting for the first time, and I don't know how long, Donnie, as far back as I could research, that we're actually going to hit that 16.67%. I believe it is of particular importance to note that we're doing this without cutting staff or cutting programs. We're actually doing quite the opposite. We are adding staff and we are adding programs to the school district, which takes resources, and at the same time being smart about how we're doing it and still growing our cash reserves. So, one of the things I shared with the county council at their retreat, you look at $15 million and 16.67%, and you think that's a lot of money. It's not, okay? Let's say you have something bad happen in your school district, like a tornado hits one of your high schools. We have to pay for those costs up front while we're waiting on the insurance company to negotiate and reimburse us. If we don't have those cash reserves in place, then we're in trouble. We can't pay our bills. So for any, and that's, a traumatic incident that doesn't happen a lot, but for any type of incident like that, it's important for us to have that cash there so that we're able to financially sustain our operations and not worry about coming back to the community and asking for a millage rate increase. Now, I'm not saying that won't eventually happen, but right now I think we can demonstrate that financially we're on solid grounds. And I have to say that that's attributed to the fact that we have a finance department that's been very protective of the taxpayer dollar and how it's being spent. The next little piece I wanted to talk about is the all-day 4K program. That was exciting to get that rolled out last year. Up until last year, we weren't offering full-day opportunities throughout the entire district. I will say this, all-day 4K programs in South Carolina were designed for students who were considered at risk. Risk factors can include poverty. It can include developmental delays in children. However, we can see benefits in including typical peers or students that don't come from those two backgrounds working side by side their peers. Our 4-day initiative is open to all children who meet the state's required prerequisites, or those children who are not at risk, we accept on a minimal tuition basis. This tuition offsets the money that we receive from the state. And if you look at our numbers, you'll see that we have 353 students enrolled in our all-day 4K programs this year. That's wonderful. It's wonderful for a couple reasons. I feel like it's a benefit to the community for people who are looking for opportunities for their children. The second thing is the sooner we get them in our doors and we orient them and expose them to the way that we do things in terms of our school structure, the better off we're going to be with their learning process. So I see that number only continuing to grow. We have 4K programs in every location with the exception of Blaney. Part of that reason is because Blaney is our largest elementary school and we simply just don't have the space for it right now. But again, back to my previous comment about potentially moving boundary lines, we may make some space, ladies, at Blaney Elementary so that we can have 4K all across the district. The other thing that we did this year is we salvaged the part of the Old Wateree Elementary School as an overflow site so that those parents who did want to provide their students with that opportunity and we didn't have space in their home school, we can move them into the old Wateree site, and now we have a 4K program there. We call it the West Wateree Early Learning Academy. And again, all initiatives that we think are positive for our school district. You know, this next piece, you know, you hear Purple Star, what's it really mean? What I would share with the folks here today is Purple Star is really something that this community has already been doing. It really is a designation that says that we are a military-friendly community. You know, we're located really in between Fort Jackson and Shaw Air Force Base. And as of today, we have roughly 670 students who have parents that are on active duty. So why is this important? It's important for a couple reasons. One, it's a promotional thing. You know, when people learn that you're a Purple Star district, they know you understand some of the complexities that an active duty child is going through when they go from base to base with their families. And so we take special considerations on that. We know that parents deploy, and when they deploy, it's a hardship on the child. And so again, we look at our attendance rules and we make considerations for that. But you know, there's another piece to this whole pie that's really important, and that is there is what's called federal impact aid, and you can fill that out and receive funding from the federal government for each one of your military children. And we're working on that process right now. I will tell you, whether we get 100% of it or not, we don't know. It's really about how complete the form is filled out. But right now we're guesstimating that's over $800,000 a year in federal grant money that we can receive from the government for all these children. The other thing is that number is only going to grow. The reason it's going to grow is because the community liaisons at Fort Jackson and Shaw Air Force Base are now starting to push Kershaw County. Better yet, they shared with us that as families are coming in, they're starting to ask about our community. I know I've lived here not quite 2 years. In the little subdivision I live in, there are 2 families from Shaw Air Force Base that live there with school-aged children. So we identified a person to run that program. And for right now, it is Miss Carrion Troy. Carrion is a member of the military. She's our diversity and inclusion coordinator, so she's very familiar with it. She filled out those federal impact aid forms as a parent herself. And so we are very optimistic that that just is another pillar of what we do as a community and as a school district for us to promote and celebrate Kershaw County. And so both Carrion and Tim Hopkins, who's been heavily involved in this compact as well over the years, are very, they're a very big part of this, and appreciate their efforts on our behalf. We are only, just so you know, the 3rd school district in the state of South Carolina to receive this recognition. Aiken, Richland 2, and now Kershaw County. And so again, I think that's a great thing for our school district. So I'm going to segue into diversity and inclusion a little bit, partially because Ms. Carrion Troy is someone that I recruited into the district to assume this position. It's something I felt like we really needed in Kershaw County when I got here. She's hit the ground running. I think, you know, for the most part, she was doing a lot of information gathering this school year, but she has already started programs and is working on our recruiting piece. But, you know, what I would tell you is you need to understand that as I discuss this a little bit, regardless of race or gender, we have some of South Carolina's finest and most dedicated teachers in our school district, bar none. You heard one of our teachers just talk about that, you know, a few minutes ago, bar none. They're in Kershaw County School District because they want to be here, and we are definitely blessed to have them here. Once we get them, we want to retain them. However, as we recruit new teachers to our community, we have to be aware of the broad variety of backgrounds and needs that our students come from and bring to us. Over 2 decades ago, the Secretary of Education at the time, Richard Riley, said that our teachers should look like America. His words reflect a long-standing concern about the mismatch between the demographics of the teacher workforce and the nation's students. It's not just a South Carolina issue. It's across the entire country. But I know when you have problems, the only way you can fix them is to be intentional about them. And so we are very intentional about what we're trying to accomplish in Kershaw County. If you look at this slide, and again, I apologize if it's small. I'm happy to share this slide set with you all at the end of this thing today. But you'll see where we have broken down the number of teachers we have in a building, the percentage of teachers that are minority, and the percentage that are white, and then compared that to the number of students in that same building. And it shows us where our gaps are, okay? So here's the thing. I can recruit teachers into the district. But the big piece to that is, how am I going to retain them if it's a cultural shift within that building? And so it's done through programs, it's done through community support and outreach to get them into the community. If they don't have a connection to Kershaw County, we have to establish a connection, okay? And so once we establish that connection and people realize that we're doing great things here and you're supported, then we'll keep them. And I just think you need to understand that that's an important piece for us as our community continues to evolve and grow. I saw the sheriff and chief here. You guys are sitting in the back watching the entryways, right? Make sure we're all protected. You know, I will say I talk to a lot of people about the things that we're doing in a school district, not just this school district. And you would expect that the superintendent would say that my number one priority is student achievement. But when you look at the overall scheme of things, and especially the way, you know, our world has just continued to change the last 10 to 15 years, my number one priority is safety. Because if I can't keep the most prized possession of our community members, their children, safe, then the rest of it really doesn't matter, right? So when I got here, Kershaw County had gone through, put together an ad hoc committee, and I was able to read it, you know, with my safety background, glean some things from it. I have, you know, what I believe is great relationships with our sheriff's department and our chiefs in the county. And so we have looked at what we can do to continue to expand the things that we're doing in terms of safety in the district. Right now, we cover 13 different locations on a full-time basis, and then we have 7 more locations that we rotate people through in terms of full-time SROs. We also hired last year a person responsible for safety in the district, and you know, we're blessed enough that this individual is also a deputy sheriff for us. So his background in the incident command system and military and safety was just a perfect fit for us. So we continue to make that better and better every day. Now, what I always tell people when I talk about safety, when you improve safety in any organization, it comes with a level of inconvenience. And so we are putting access controls on our doors. We have more cameras, you know, and those are deterrents. It doesn't make it perfect. The best thing that we can do to improve our safety is if you see something, you say something, and you tell somebody so that we can respond to it. You can't let red flags go unnoticed, or that's where you end up with a Marjorie Stoneman Douglas and some of these other places where horrific incidents have occurred. You know, just because we're a small, warm community doesn't mean something like that can't happen here. So we always have to be aware and cognizant of that. And I am very proud of the support that we receive from our law enforcement partners as we try to expand these programs. And you know, I would be remiss if I didn't say that the county council has been very supportive of our initiatives as well, and supplying us with extra resources to be able to hire some of these folks. All right, so the fun stuff, at least for me. Digital convergence, right? What is digital convergence? You're a great group to try to explain this to, okay? The one thing I will tell you what it is and what it's not. First of all, why digital convergence? Well, number one is the world is changing. The way our students learn is different, you know, and I have students that are sitting back here and they'll tell you, give me information the way I'm used to getting it, the way I research it, and don't just talk to me. You know, this is a much more collaborative world than we live in. You know, we had our advanced ed report. The last 2 visits have really said the same thing, and it's really a standard point on how effective are you at using technology as a way to blend instruction in your classroom. Yes, we are the oldest, most seasoned district with one-to-one computing at the high school level. But what about pre-K through 8th grade? It really wasn't there. So we've placed a lot of emphasis on that. It was an opportunity for us to become one of South Carolina's 5 pilot e-learning school districts. And what's so important about that? Well, it's a public relations piece. It's a way to sell that we're innovative, we're aggressive, and we're looking at any way we can to provide opportunities for students. It says that we're willing to think outside of the box and do things a little bit differently to grow our school district. And so what is digital convergence? It's not just computers, right? You're going to see a slide up here that will give you an example of what it looks like in a classroom. But the way most of us learned, that's when the Industrial Revolution was taking place. And so our classrooms were set up in rows because that was effective and that was efficient. And that's what we were training students to go to and the workforce they were going in. I share a story, and again, I'm disappointed my wife's not here. Shame on her. My wife worked in an office building in downtown Indianapolis before we moved here. And on the inside of the building, it was all glass storefronts. And some of you have heard me share this story. And her building was cubicles, and she works in the healthcare management field, and that's just the way they did things, right? Well, there were a lot of startup companies that would come into this building, and you could see into their office space. And these young companies would come in, and they would be in shorts and flip-flops, and there wouldn't be a desk, and there'd be a couch and laptops, and she's like, how do they get anything done? It's crazy. They got headsets on, their computers, all this stuff, right? But I can tell you, that's the workforce that a lot of our kids are going to go into. They're going to go into a very what we call flexible learning environment or flexible environments. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into my son's bedroom, his TV's on, he's got his earbuds in, and he's working on his computer on an assignment. I'm like, holy crap, man, my head just wants to explode looking at it. But that's the way their brains are wired today. Now, not everybody, okay? Not every child is that way. So there is some value in having the traditional lecture piece. But when we talk about digital convergence, we're talking about going into classrooms where they're not in rows. Our elementary teachers have been doing this for years. They call them centers, right? They flip classrooms where they'll put a group here working on, group work. They'll put a group here working on worksheets. They'll put a group here doing some other things. And that's how they approach their classroom, and they maximize results, right? Well, now we're doing that with our middle school kids. We're doing that with our high school kids. We're getting away from the rows. We're using tables, soft chairs, high chairs, low chairs to give them an environment that they're going to be used to and they're going to be comfortable with when they go into the workforce. So digital convergence for us has 6 main drivers. I'm not going to bore you with the science part of this, but it really revolves around these things all being in congruence with one another. It starts at the top, right? Leadership. Leadership can be described as your administrators, but leadership is your teachers. Leadership is your parents. Leadership is your business community. It's all of us working together. When we talk about instructional models, it's what is your instructional model? What do you expect when you deliver instruction? What's the outcomes? How are you measuring it? Again, you'll hear me say this a lot in my tenure here, and that is, I do believe in feelings. I'm a very compassionate individual, but I believe in facts over feelings to drive my decision making. When we look at modern curriculum, we're using digital, virtual, web-based stuff. We have taken the old ATEC campus and we took Building C and we have a virtual training lab in there. We had model classrooms that have now turned into classrooms. Sorry. But we've also put teachers in there to work with teachers in a train-the-trainer type model because we, again, want to lead and not follow what's going on in South Carolina. And as a matter of fact, is it this month or next month? I think next month we are hosting a regional forum where districts are going to come in. We're going to host the forum, but they're also going to be able to observe some of the things that we're doing in our school district that's a little bit different from what we call standard and typical. None of this works without a digital ecosystem. So not just the computers, but you don't think about the wireless and the wiring and the cameras and a lot of the other things that go into place when you're providing that. And as a matter of fact, and I'm not exposing it. Where's Representative Funderburk? I know I saw her. Raise your hand. I'm not exposing it, but we do have a big announcement that I want you to be on the lookout for that just goes to show you exciting things happening in in our community, okay? So be on the lookout for that. Professional learning, we can talk about all these things, but if you don't train people to do it, what's the point, right? And I'm going to tell you, our best trainers are in our classrooms. And so if anybody ever asks, is there value in 45 minutes, 1 day a week? Yeah, there's value. You know, we'll start to learn more and more often how valuable it can be as we get better and better at what we're doing, but there's value in it. Professional learning has to become a part of your culture. So I just want to give a shout out to Dr. Taylor and the academic team. One of the things that you do is you try to brand your instructional model. When we have new teachers coming into the school district and they say, well, what's expected of me? Well, you go to your classroom and you teach, right? But we're putting a brand with it. We're training them on what's expected. But if you look at this, we talk about a supportive learning environment, engage classrooms. We think flipping classrooms and blending instruction is the way you engage students. We obviously want them to be college and career ready. You know, we're going to look at the data to make sure that we're growing individual students. But all this, if you look at our instructional model, is student-centered. You know, the one thing that's nice about technology is you can personalize instruction for every child. I have heard success stories already of children that were homesick and couldn't come to school, but they didn't want to fall behind, so they got on their Google Classroom, they looked at their assignments, and they came to school, and they weren't behind. So those are some of the powers of the tools. Here's what I was talking about. That was our classroom, most of us. That was our classroom. Today, it looks something like this. And actually, I was just at a conference where they're showing even more innovation of what you can do in a classroom. And so that's what we have to look towards. Because again, in a lot of these career fields, kids are going to leave and they're not going to this. They're going to go to this. And so we want to provide them with that type of education. And then I'll just leave you with this. You know, this is one of my favorite quotes from Dale Carnegie, and that is, we can all learn to be left behind, right? Change, you heard our board chair talk about change. You've heard our teacher of the year talk about change. Change is not easy. You know, if it was easy, everybody would do it and everybody would grow. There are growing pains with change, but a good learning organization is not fearful of it. And a good learning organization will look at what they have done and not just say, we're doing it because. They'll evaluate the results, they'll modify what they're doing, and continue to move forward. I showed our teachers a video at the start of the school year this year, and it talked about failure. It was a Will Smith video, and I think Mary Drakeford even borrowed it in one of her speeches. But, you know, it just talks about failing early, failing often, and failing forward, because that's how we grow, not only as individuals, but as an organization. Maybe. So, with that being said, that kind of concludes what I wanted to share with you this morning. I'm happy to share the slide deck with you. Our cabinets here will stay to the side answering questions if you have any. I just really want to say thank you. I appreciate you taking some time on a Friday morning to spend with us. I hope it's been informational for you. And again, like I said at the beginning, I hope you leave here feeling encouraged of the things that we're doing in our school district for the children of Kershaw County. It's definitely my pleasure to work on a team that we have here, and my pleasure to be a part of this community. So thanks again for being here.